You finally came back. I was starting to think you'd broken your promise. You know, I almost left. Not because I stopped believing, just because, well, it's been so many years, and humans have a habit of forgetting. You grow up and you move away. You find new places, new people, new lives, and little promises made under an old oak tree, well, they usually stay buried with childhood. But not yours. Not this one. You came. I knew you would. Not all the time. There were years that I doubted. Years when the road stayed empty. When autumn came and went without seeing you climb this hill. But tonight, something felt different. The wind carried your scent long before your footsteps reached the clearing. I knew it was you. Come here. Don't stand all the way over there. You always did that when you were nervous. Even when we were kids. You'd shuffle your feet and pretend to be looking at the trees and wait for me to walk over first. Some habits never change. There, that's better. Now I can actually see you. Wow, you've gotten taller. Not exactly difficult. You were so tiny back then. Do you remember insisting you'd be 6 feet tall before you turned 16? You're absolutely convinced. You argued with me for nearly an hour. You even made me stand back to back with you to prove you were growing faster. But you weren't. I let you win anyway. You always smiled so brightly when you thought you'd won. I could never take that away from you. You're staring. I know, go ahead. Ask. No, I haven't changed. Not really. You're trying to be polite. I appreciate that. But you're wondering why I look exactly the same. Same hair. Same eyes. Same voice and same face. When we were 12, people said I'd probably be very tall one day. Looks like they were wrong. What? No, I'm not wearing makeup to look younger. No surgeries. No strange diets. No miraculous skincare routine. Although, thank you. I suppose that's flattering. You really haven't changed, even after all these years. You still ask questions the exact same way. You tilt your head, squint, just a little, like you're trying to solve a puzzle nobody else can see. I missed that. Did you miss me? You don't have to answer immediately. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, you did? I know. I could hear it in your voice the moment you said my name. It's different now. Lower. Older. But when you said my name, for just a second, you sounded exactly like the little boy who used to race me through the woods. Remember that? You never won. Hey, don't make that face. You didn't. Because I cheated, obviously. I knew shortcuts. I climbed trees and I crossed streams without slowing down. You were trying to follow the paths. I wasn't. You used to call me unfair. I tell you, the forest likes me more. You thought I was joking. Do you remember the old oak? The one with the swing? It's gone. Lightning. About 8 years ago, half the village came to watch them cut it down. People cried. It had been there longer than anyone could remember. I cried too. Though not where anyone could see. Things disappear. Even things that feel like they'll last forever. Except, apparently, me. Sorry, that joke was a little dark. You laughed anyway. Good. I was hoping you still would. Can I ask you something? Why did you really come back? No, not the answer you'd tell everyone else. Not, I wanted to visit, or I had some vacation time. Why here? Why tonight? Why this clearing? Because you remembered. I thought so. The promise. You remember exactly what we said, don't you? If we're ever apart, meet here, on the first autumn night when the leaves start to fall. No matter how old we were, no matter where life took us, and no matter how long it had been, we'd meet here. I never missed a year. Every single autumn, I came. Sometimes I stayed until sunrise, sometimes longer. The first year, I thought maybe you'd gotten lost. The second, I thought your parents hadn't let you travel. The fifth, I realised you'd probably forgotten. Still, I came, because someone had to keep the promise alive. Oh, you look guilty. Don't. Life happened. I understand that. Probably better than anyone. Besides, you came now, and that's enough. Can I tell you something strange? Every year, I imagined what you'd look like. Would you have a beard? Or would you wear glasses? Would your laugh sound different? Would you still smile with your whole face? I got almost everything wrong. Except one thing. Your eyes. They're exactly the same. Not the colour, the way they look at people. Like you're trying to understand them. Like everyone has a story worth hearing. You had those eyes when you were 10, and you still have them now. It's nice. Something survived growing up. You know, there was a time I almost came looking for you. I even made it as far as the edge of town. Then I saw cars, street lights, crowds, thousands of people moving all at once, and I turned around. That world doesn't really belong to me anymore. Nothing, forget I said that. Actually, no, don't forget it. Just save the question for later. Tell me about your life instead. I want to hear everything. The real version, not the polished one. Did you become what you dreamed of? No? What did you become instead? I can see that. It suits you. Helping people always suited you, even back then. Do you remember the injured fox? Everyone else was afraid, but you weren't. You sat beside it for nearly an hour, talking to it as though it understood every word. It did. Sorry. You gave me that look. You'll be giving me that look more often tonight. The one that says, that doesn't make any sense. You'll get used to it. I hope. Do you remember the day you asked me where I lived? I pointed into the woods and you said, no, really. And I pointed again. You thought I was teasing. I wasn't. I've always lived in the woods. Always. Even before there was a village nearby. Oh, there it is. You heard that, didn't you? The word always. You're trying to decide whether I misspoke. I didn't. You should probably sit down. No, I'm serious. The old stump is still sturdy enough. Go on. I'd rather you were comfortable. Thank you. I suppose this is the part where our evening becomes a little less ordinary, and once I tell you, I can't untell you. I've been looking forward to seeing you again for so long. I imagined this conversation 1,000 different ways. In some versions, you laughed, and in others, you ran. One particularly depressing version involved you calling the police. I'd rather avoid that one if possible. So, before I say anything else, I need one promise. Just one. Please, listen until I'm finished. Don't decide what I am halfway through. Don't let any old stories make the choice for you. Just hear me out. Can you do that? Thank you. I've trusted you with this once before. You just don't remember. You frowned. Just then, did you notice? You always do that when you're trying to remember something that doesn't quite fit. It's almost painful to watch. I can practically hear your thoughts turning. You know there is a memory there, but every time you reach for it, it slips away. Don't force it. You'll only give yourself a headache. Can I ask you something? What's the oldest memory you have of me? Not the clearest. The oldest. The creek. That's what I thought. You remember falling into the water. You remember me pulling you back onto the bank. You remember crying because your favourite shoes floated away. But you don't remember what happened before that. No, you wouldn't. Because that wasn't the first time we met. It was the third. I know that doesn't make any sense, at least not from where you're sitting. The first time. You were 4 years old, far too small to be wandering through these woods on your own. Your mother had only looked away for a minute, maybe 2. Children disappear so easily. One butterfly, one interesting flower, one curious little path. That's all it takes. You wandered farther than anyone realised. Far enough that something else found you first. No, don't interrupt. Remember your promise. Hear me out. It wasn't an animal. Not exactly. It looked like one. Most of them do. At least, until they stop pretending. It had too many eyes, too many legs. Its shadow bent the wrong way. The birds would stop singing before it arrived. The trees went quiet. It was hungry. And you were very small. You didn't even know you were in danger. You were kneeling in the moss, trying to offer it half of a biscuit. You always did want to feed everything. You smiled at it. It smiled back. That was when I found you. I don't remember fighting, not really. Those memories blur together after a while. But I remember shouting. I remember blood. Not yours, never yours. And then I remember carrying you home. You were asleep by then, curled against my shoulder, mumbling something about rabbits. And when I reached the edge of town, your mother came running. She cried, and she thanked me. She asked me my name. I told her. The next morning, she couldn't remember my face, only that someone had brought you back. That was the first time we met. The second, you came looking for me. Children are funny. You couldn't remember who had saved you, only that someone had. You wandered into the woods every afternoon for almost a week, calling, "Hello!" Eventually, I answered. That's when we became friends. You remember that part, just not quite how it began. You haven't said anything. Are you angry? No? Just overwhelmed. That's fair. I'd be overwhelmed too. Take your time. We've waited years for this conversation. A few quiet minutes won't hurt. You know, I used to wonder if telling you would change anything, whether the truth matters when the memories are gone. But then I thought, if our friendship meant anything, you deserved honesty. even if it sounded impossible. Especially then. You asked me once why I was never scared. Do you remember? You'd scraped your knee climbing that hill over there. You were convinced wolves were going to eat us, and I laughed. You got annoyed, very annoyed. You crossed your arms, looked me dead in the face and said, "If something scary shows up, what are we supposed to do?" Do you remember my answer? No? I said, "It won't." You asked, "How can you know?" I said, "Because they know me." You thought I meant the wolves. I didn't. It wasn't bravery. It was recognition. Nothing in these woods would ever hurt me. Nothing dared. You know, when we were children, I thought everyone could hear the forest speaking. I thought everyone knew which mushrooms to avoid because they whispered before dawn. I thought everyone understood that certain paths only existed when they wanted to be found. Then I met other children. I realized they heard wind, not voices. They saw trees, not people. They saw darkness, not everything living inside of it. I learned to stop talking about it. People smiled and patted my head and called me imaginative. It was easier that way. Until you. You never laughed. You didn't always understand me. Goodness no. Half the things I said made you blink at me for a full minute. But you listened. That's different. Listening is rarer than believing. Do you know why I liked you so much? It wasn't because you were brave, though you were. It wasn't because you were kind, though you were that too. It was because you never demanded proof. You'd simply shrug, take my hand and say, "Okay." What a remarkable thing! To trust someone without asking them to become smaller first. I didn't appreciate how precious that was until much later. Much, much later. There was one autumn you stopped coming. Not just here, everywhere. The creek, the hill, the berry bushes, the old swing. I waited. Days, then weeks. Eventually, I went to the edge of the town. Someone told me your family had moved away. Your father found work in the city. You'd left in such a hurry you didn't even get to say goodbye. I was unreasonably upset. Oh, no, not with you. Never with you. Just with time. With people. With all the things that carry humans away before they're ready. I sat under this tree until winter came. I think that was the first time time I understood just how lonely forever could be. Because unlike you, I wasn't going anywhere. I stayed. I always stay. And that's where the story becomes difficult to tell, because the girl you remember, the one who raced through the woods, the one who stole blackberries before they were ripe, the one who laughed every time you lost your shoe in the mud, she was human. At least, she started that way. I didn't lie to you earlier. I really have changed. Just not in the ways you expected. Not taller. Not older. Something else. Something far stranger. I should probably tell you what happened the winter after you left, because that's the last winter I was ever truly human.